Hi, everyone. My name is Samantha Van. I am the founder of Creative Odyssey. We are currently offering free classes for students. We currently have fashion design Saturdays from 12:30 to 2 with Creole by Keka, acting classes from 2 to 3 on Saturdays with actor Cameron Cottrell. Art classes are starting back up this year with Imad Tomo, Tom Art, and we are here today. I come the first Sunday of every month to just examine spirituality. So, um, there has been just a heavy amount of questions around spirituality and religion. So many people have decided to become more spiritually inclined versus the religious titles that many of us may have been raised in or grew up in from going to church, um, all types of things. People have really started to navigate towards spirituality. So, what I wanted to do, and during this year, you're going to see me bring in all different types of people who believe in spirituality on different levels. Again, spirituality is not the same as religion. So there's no Episcopalian, no Presbyterian, no Catholic, no Baptist, and all of those things do not apply in the spiritual world. But after speaking with my amazing daughter, Brianne Van, that also sits on my board, she said to me, over time, Mom, a lot of people, as they have been making their way to spirituality, still hold on to some of those core religious texts or religious titles. They still, so you may have some Christians that are spiritual or Baptists that are spiritual because they still follow religious titles and the practices that are aligned with those, but they find themselves to be spiritual as well. So today, Creative Odyssey is just going to do a couple of things. I'm going to share the screen with everyone, and we're going to take a look at spirituality and the difference between spirituality and religion. Again, guys, I'm here only the first Sundays of the month, and the times will vary from 5 minutes to 10 minutes to 20 minutes to 30 minutes. It all depends on if we have a guest on and how much information there is to share. I have not been here since Creative Odyssey had the Empower Ministry. And I want to give a huge shout out to Councilman Devontae Sherrod for his time that he invested for that first quarter. But now I really, again, just want to take a look at spirituality because I find myself to be more attached to spirituality versus religion. And I am one of those people that went to church heavily as a child. I've been in Catholic, Episcopal, Baptist. My mom had us in all types of churches. Liberty Temple was one that I'm never going to forget. And then there was one on Cherry Lawn in Detroit, and that one was Episcopalian. So that was nice to get to learn about some other types of religions and ways that they study and practice their religion. So, but still, at 41 years old today, I decided to stick with just spirituality and no religious titles. So let's get started and take a look at some of the information that I was able to gather regarding spirituality and the difference between religion and spirituality. So here we have just a simple definition. Spirituality is the quality of being concerned with the human spirit or soul as opposed to material or physical things. This definition could be seen differently for many people. I feel like I attach myself to this definition very well. I am more concerned with the human spirit and the soul I am not concerned with material or physical things. Reason being is I was born naked and I'm going to die, maybe clothed if I'm lucky. So, um, what happens in between is so much more important to me than the material or physical things. And now keep in mind, I do like nice things. I do own nice things. I do like to have nice things, but they are not my entire focus. My entire focus is on the human spirit and the soul and making sure that that's always aligned properly. And the material or physical things that may come in my presence during that time are, to me, simply put, just a blessing from Yahweh. Most importantly, I must focus on the quality of being concerned with the human spirit and the soul. So, again, spirituality is defined by this dictionary, the Oxford Language Version, is the quality of being concerned with the human spirit or soul as opposed to material or physical things. The shift in priorities allows us to embrace our spirituality in a more profound way. Okay. So that's the Oxford language definition of spirituality. Again, this is one of the definitions that I feel like I am more closely aligned with, which is why I chose to use it today. But there was another one that provided so much more information, and I just wanted to share that. This is from openhorizons.org / spirituality hyphen what hyphen is hyphen it hyphen the hyphen RSA hyphen report dot html. We always want to make sure when you're using sources, you give the respect to the source that you're getting it from. So, spirituality and what is it? The language of spirituality. Sometimes people get the mistaken notion that spirituality is a separate department of life, like the penthouse of our existence. But rightly understood, it is a vital awareness that pervades all realms of our being. Someone will say, I come alive when I listen to music, or I come to life when I garden, or I come alive when I play golf. Wherever we come alive, that is the area in which we are spiritual. And then we can say, I know at least how one is in spirit, how one is spiritual in that area. To be vital, awake, aware in all areas of our lives is the task that is never accomplished, but it remains a goal. And that's from David Steindl Rast from the Music of Silence. Spiritual literacy is knowing about the moods, attitudes, and capacities that are important to people in the many world religions, helping them to become awake, aware, and alive. Let's just talk about that one section. So sometimes people get the mistaken notion that spirituality is a separate department of life. That is an impactful statement. It is not a separate component of life. It's a choice that one has decided to make. Um, and the reason being that one would make that choice goes directly into this section where it says, where we come alive, that is the area in which we are spiritual. And then we can say, I know at least how one is spiritual in that area. To be vital, awake, aware in all areas of our lives is a task that is never accomplished, but it remains the goal. I respect David Steindl Rast from his book, The Music of Silence statement, but many people are and have met that task of being vital, awake, and aware in all areas of their life. Sometimes I find that when you are vital, aware, and awake in all the areas of your life, you must be sure to make just to be absolutely sure you are centered around people that understand that about you. Oftentimes, many people are vital, awake, and aware in all areas of their lives, But if we find ourselves situated or around people that are not equally yoked and are not vital, aware, and awake, it will leave you with this lingering feeling that you are not either. Their incompetencies, their inabilities, their um, just inability to really be vital, awake, and aware in all those areas will constantly make a person that is vital, awake, and aware in all those areas feel really drained because they're not finding themselves encompassed or around someone that is also vital, awake, and aware. So many times we don't ask important questions when we're meeting people, but sometimes just asking that question will decide whether or not that person really should be around you, because what you don't want to do is find yourself not accomplishing your fullness of who you are because of the situations that you are in or the people that you are around. So I just want to agree to disagree with David Steindl-Rast from his book, The Music of Silence, in saying that some people do accomplish the vitality, being awake and aware, and just really being mindful of who you take that energy around to make sure that it remains positive and vibrant inside of yourself. Okay, so down here we have, and I'm just going to read one more from here, and then we're going to take a look at religion versus spirituality. Again, my intent is not to keep you very long, but I did want to just cover some really key points, and that being spirituality, what spirituality is, and the difference between religion and spirituality. All right. So let's say for the moment that spirituality is simply the activity of becoming as fully alive as possible within oneself and in relation to others in ways that are emotionally satisfying and that are wise, compassionate, and inwardly free. That is a huge statement being said right there. At the activity of becoming as fully alive as possible within oneself and in relation to others in ways that are emotionally satisfying and that are wise, compassionate, and inwardly free. I want to pause right there. And yesterday I had an opportunity. It was yesterday or the day before yesterday because I had classes. Again, you can check out classes, free classes, at www.creativeodyssey.org. We are currently offering free classes. I am the founder, Samantha Van. But I had an opportunity, believe it was Friday, to speak with a wonderful woman named Anaris Munger. Shout out to Anaris Munger. She is over I Hate Domestic Violence. She has a very heartfelt story of her mother being murdered last year in March. So please check her out on Instagram at I Hate Domestic Violence. Her name is Anaris Munger. Anaris Munger and I were speaking after the interview, and she shared with me how spiritual her family is. And she said to me, we are all spiritual. We can all feel everything. We all have a tendency to feel emotions and feel situations that are not the best for us. And believe me, I believe all of us have that capability in us. It's just some people have tapped into it on such a level that they're very aware of it. And so they do what they have to do to protect themselves and protect their energy. It was such a beautiful conversation to have with Anaris. And Anaris said to me, she says, I'm an helper. It's what I do, and I'm not ashamed of it anymore. I like to go out and help people. I like to go out and teach and help and cultivate the community. Right there, according to this, that could be maybe her one spiritual attribute that she has. But for me, and again, in life, you have to learn how to agree to disagree. So I agree with parts of this article, but I have to disagree because within that conversation with her, that was her alignment and she found it. and I enjoyed speaking with her. And while speaking, you could tell the energy was aligned. We were on the same page and we both understood what each was saying. So that again is taking to me back to what I said earlier. Always make sure that the people that you surround yourself with are equally aligned with where you are going and what your vision is. Too easily, we find ourselves just wanting to be around somebody, wanting to be in the company of people. But when you're on a spiritual journey, you must be sure that those that you are around or that you, again, that you decide to spend your time with are equally aligned on their spiritual journey so that you guys can come together and flourish and prosper on a positive note. There can be no positivity and progression if there's one that is spiritually aligned and one that is teeter tottering. You're going to constantly, that spiritually aligned person is probably going to find themselves really drained and worn out because they are finding themselves in a situation with a teetering tottering person, and that's not aligned to their what they need. So please be mindful of that. And after speaking with the nearest monger, it was just beautiful to meet someone that is on her spiritual journey and her whole family is spiritual. And they have taken the time to really tap into their spirituality and be in acceptance of it rather than taboo about it or not speak about it. So, activity of becoming as fully alive as possible within oneself and in relation to others in ways that are emotionally satisfying and that are wise, compassionate, and inwardly free. That, my friends, is a Naris Munger from I Hate Domestic Violence. She is within oneself. She is emotionally satisfied. She's so wise, young as well, compassionate, and she's inwardly free. Inwardly free is a feeling that you can't tell somebody. You can't teach people how to be inwardly free. People have to take that step, that chance, um, that take the time through meditation, through focusing, through studying the word, whichever word you decide to study, to get to a point of being inwardly free. But this beautiful young woman, Anaris Munger from I Hate Domestic Violence, please, you can find her on Instagram to support. Found that inwardly free, as well as I am searching for mine. So I'm saying I feel inwardly free, but I'm just, all right, guys. So let's wrap it up with taking a look at religion versus spirituality. So the difference between the two. So here we have religion versus spirituality, the difference between them. And this is from chopra.com/articles /religion versus spirituality the different difference between them. Again, I learned that from undergrad. You always want to make sure you give the proper shout out to whoever wrote the article. So this one is about religion versus spirituality, the difference between them. And as you can see, some key words that I really find are jumping out of me are personal growth, which is so important, meditation, and spirituality. And remember that personal growth is going to be different for each person, simply put, because you've went through so much. People say it to us all the time, but you must remember my journey is not does not look like someone else's. So whereas Cindy may be able to recover from her journey faster, Samantha cannot. And through my personal growth, I'm learning to adjust to those things. And so we must always, please, people, I find that to be, as I have been dealing with people and networking and meeting people and in certain organizations and out of certain organizations, one of the biggest thing I took from that is everyone's personal growth is different. My story was not meant to look like yours. My story was not meant to look like yours. And that, I guess, goes back to being inwardly free because I understand my story. We may share some similarities. We may share some things that seem very closely intertwined, but my personal growth is going to be specifically aligned to what me and Yahweh have said. Well, what Yahweh, I give all praise to Yahweh. So whatever Yahweh has set forth, and in life, we must accept and really accept that so that we do not find ourselves out in conversations with people saying, hey, you still haven't got it yet? You're still going through? You're still not there? My friend down the way, she's there already. Why aren't you there? No, it's my personal growth. It's Eric's personal growth. It's it's Jake's personal growth. I'm using random people just to point out that everyone grows on their own journey in their own life. And we must be in acceptance of that rather than pushing them or prodding them to manifest what you see for them. They have to personally manifest what Yahweh and what they see for themselves. It's personal growth. All right. So I don't want to keep you guys too much longer. I'm trying to run this in like 6 minutes, but let's take a look at religion versus spirituality and the difference between them. So, and it's really, I like how this gets straight to the point. Um, Religion, by definition, religion is a personal set or institutionalized system of religious attitudes, beliefs, and practices. The service and worship of God or the supernatural. So, again, institutionalized system means, for those that are viewing or will view this later, institutionalized system of religious attitudes. Institutionalized is the key word there because institutionalized just means it's inbuilt. Religion, most people who are religious feel that they have to go inside of a church. They have to go to this other building. They have to go into this institution that has been set, that has been created for them to go into to praise inside of this institution. And as it indicated here, for the service and worship in God or the supernatural. So that's religion. Now, spirituality. Spirituality, on the other hand, connotes on an experience of connection to something larger than you. Living everyday life in a reverent and sacred manner, or as Christina Puchalski, MD, leader in trying to incorporate spirituality into healthcare, puts it, spirituality is the aspect of humanity that refers to the way individuals seek and express meanings and purpose, and the way they experience their connectedness to the moment, to self, to others, to nature, and to the significant or sacred. So let's talk about that a little bit. It connotes an experience of connection to something larger than you. It can still be, and this is what I said earlier, when some people are religious and say they're still spiritual because it's two different realms. So it's two different levels, it's two different places. So something larger than you, right then and there for religious people, God would be that then, or the supernatural, as the article indicated. Um, for myself, it's of course Yahweh. So I don't know if that would somehow teeter me into religion, but I don't think it does. But something larger than myself has been what I have been fighting for since I was a little girl, and finally really took acceptance of it in my adulthood, is that I am a helper, I am a giver, I am a provider, and I'm okay with that. And again, as I said, when speaking with the Naris Munger this week, I was so happy to hear another person say it and not be ashamed. Because too often in life, people tell you, oh, don't be free. Free is not going to get you nowhere. Free is not going to do anything for you. Free has kept me alive. Free keeps a roof over my head. Free allowed me to retire at 38. Free allows me to have 2 degrees, a bachelor's and a master's. Now, they didn't cost, they cost me. But it was all in the divine order of the something larger than me, what I was living for. And during my journey, I never really tell people the intimate side of why I do what I do. But for those that have been here with me from youth till now, they already knew it. And so thank God, thank Yahweh, thank whoever you're praising today for again making sure that you surround yourself with people that understand you. Because again, if they don't understand you, you're going to get what I got most of my life from surrounding myself that with people that didn't understand my purpose and that it was larger than myself, it was larger than them, and it was a purpose that I knew I had to fulfill. And all praise to Yahweh Elohim, I fulfilled it. I created my nonprofit organization in 2020, ran classes 9 months out of the year during the pandemic, came in 2021, running 4 sets of classes right now, fashion design, choir, art, acting, free for youth. When you're on a journey of personal growth and when you are self-aware, it can sometimes make you feel very alone. But all praise to Yahweh Elohim. Again, I've met Anaris. I've met Creole by Keka, Kenyatta Caldwell, another beautifully spiritual woman that I hope to have on the show when her schedule clears up a bit. Um, Anaris, she's coming on, so you're going to see her with Empowerment Divas Network. We're going to bring her and her sisters on for a women's empowerment section, but I pray to also get them on one of our first Sundays of the month just to really speak about spirituality and how they are perceiving it and how they're living through their purpose day by day. Spirituality is the aspect of humanity. I agree 1,000%. I knew my purpose. I knew what I came here to do. I'm just praying now that Yahweh Elohim allows me to see it through, to continue to live in my purpose, to continue to surround myself with people that understand that I am living in my purpose, that I am vital, awake, and aware, that I am so fine in tune with myself. And don't make me feel bad about that. And please, for those listening, as we get ready to exit, don't make anyone feel bad about being who they are. And I believe when we're going into spirituality, that can definitely be one of those um, things that we do without even realizing it. We're judging people, we're making people feel a certain way because they are not doing what we do or doing what we want them to do. We can, that is not the way it's supposed to be. In my personal growth, as I have grown and manifested in the same way that many others in the universe are doing right now, this is my level of personal growth. It is not to be judged, it is not to be vindicated, it is not to be looked upon sourly, though it is. Because I am vital, awake, and aware, I just know to then remove myself from those situations that are not positive for me and that do not align with my purpose and what Yahweh. And I know again, since I was a child, I haven't been able to fully embrace everything that has happened, but I am so thankful for staying on my journey, for being aware of my inner self and what I needed, and for even just taking some of those times and being around people that were not always aware of themselves. So how could they understand that I was aware of myself? All of those things you take in stride and you keep going because there's a divine order, there's something more. And in life, you're going to run across obstacles. And in the land of spirituality, it can be overwhelming sometimes. But my journey is to keep going and to keep examining spirituality. And again, as I indicated, bringing people on as I am meeting and learning people that have decided to take the journey of spirituality versus religion. So, again, guys, my name is Samantha Van. I come to you once a month, every first Sunday of the month. So, hopefully, in June, I have an opportunity, and I'm thinking I'm going to try to get Anaris or Creole by Keka, can you get a Caldwell on? And we're just going to take a look at spirituality from there. I hope all of you have a beautiful Sunday filled with love, hope, and positivity. Remember to always be positive, even when things around you seem like they are so negative. Be positive, be loving, and be peaceful. Namaste, and thank you for tuning in.